Hello and welcome back to Gengo no Tabi. My name is Wes and this is another State of the Gengo no Tabi Address. This is the only video I get to do casually where I don't do a ton of editing. I do love the editing. I think in every one of these I've done where I update you on what's going on with Gengo no Tabi, I've told you that Jessica and I started it as a place for people to come together like you and I who are studying Japanese and share resources, study methods, and just adventures along the road of studying. However, another reason that I wanted to do this was an outlet for my digital craft. I like doing editing and 3D animation, and so some of the videos I spend many hours, 40, 50 hours on 2-3 minute video. Some of the opening sequences I'll spend 20 hours on and they're only 4 seconds long. I think that works perfectly with it because I believe that, like me, many of you use YouTube as an escape from your more arduous studying. You've been hunched over a kanji book, or you've been at a site studying grammar and you want to do something a little bit lighter but still study, and you stop by YouTube to see what the morons are doing, and all of us on YouTube, and you hopefully are often looking for something a little more lighthearted and yet learn some Japanese. So, well, I wanted to say that I also, in these, I always thank all the people who have worked with Gengo no Tabi because I do the editing and I come up with a lot of the ideas and I organize things, but I am not Gengo no Tabi. Masa was a huge part of it in the beginning, a lot of people. But this time I wanted to talk a little bit briefly about the people who help out so much that are not in the videos. I call them consultants. Many of you, if you've studied Japanese for any time, you might have discovered that your Japanese friends, who we all appreciate so much, they're not experts on their language. Just like if you ask me a question about English, I may very well answer it wrong. I think that's even more of a fact with Japanese. There are over 100 different dialects in Japan. Old people pre-World War II influence people speak very differently than young people, and just like, you know, even more so than young and old people speak differently in other countries. There's just a lot of Japanese friends that when I ask them for a question, they'll answer it wrong. That happens a lot. And so I've slowly found Japanese people that not only were willing to answer a question, because Japanese people also, if I can be allowed to generalize, don't always like to say you're wrong. They don't like to say no. It's very direct for their societal manner. And so it's important to find somebody that can say you're wrong and somebody who's knowledgeable about the language. And slowly I found some people like that. And before I post any Gengo no Tabi video, I put it up and I show it to the people who are in it and ask them what they think of it. And I show it to some people who I know give me honest feedback, and I show it to the consultants and that people who are willing to give their opinion and are knowledgeable. Choju, Masa, Hide, Atsuko, John, people like this. And that is so important. Every video before it goes up is proofed by several people. That being said, mistakes still get up sometimes onto YouTube. And it's very important. Constructive criticism is so valuable. Some of the people who have criticized videos I've latched onto. And the next video I put up, I send them a message. And I was like, the last time I put up a video, you said blah, blah, blah. And that was useful information and it was honest. And so would you please look at this before it's posted and tell me what you think of it? So that's very valuable. That being said, it doesn't hurt if you think there's a mistake in a video or something, or if you want to say something critical, you're welcome to send me a PM, a private message. If you say in the comments box, you know, I think this is wrong, and it turns out not to be, because if it is true, I'll find out right away and I will take it down. But if I find out that it's not wrong, then I'm not going to take down the video, and there's people in the comments box saying it's wrong. So you can do whatever you want. You're the viewer. But we appreciate constructive criticism, and you're welcome to put it in the comments box. Anybody who's been watching Gengo no Tabi for a while may have noticed that videos do get jerked every once in a while. Every site I study at online and every YouTube channel that I view, and I do get around because I want to know what's going on with everybody who's producing material for the language, makes mistakes. I see mistakes continually. I know that some of the biggest names in YouTube, I don't want to say any names, but they yank them down quick. Even the slightest hint of something that could be slightly wrong, bam, it's gone. And so do we here. But sometimes, just recently, I had a couple things which I'm building up to. A video just recently, which was Conversational Japanese number 9. Kenta Sensei, who is a Japanese national. He was in the States for a while studying at a university, but he's from Japan. And he made a sentence about how long to stay in Japan. And he used the borrowed word for stay. Right there. Several people and some Japanese people said that that's not very common. They'll use this word more often. And so the way they phrased it, it kind of sounded like you wouldn't say it that way. However, Kenta is Japanese. He's young. He's a university student, and he says it that way. And people do say it that way. And if you look up the borrowed word for stay, it's in a Japanese dictionary as such. That being said, many people still use this word, and that is fine too. Japanese, like any other language, is very flexible, and everybody speaks it differently, and that's okay. Another phrase that drew some attention was this one, and that one could be phrased better. Now, this phrase says that, please excuse me, because my Japanese isn't very good, so I'm concerned that if you say that perfectly, it'll sound sarcastic. But we do want to make our phrases as natural and perfect as we can, even though everybody will say everything differently. So here's another way you could say that. That video got yanked. I'll probably be posting it with some small alterations soon because it was a valuable lesson, and the people who did view it, I got some great comments because it's a useful phrase. I have my talking points here. I can do that in this video. I don't have to be so professional. Okay, so another issue recently was the last video that went up. What did you say? Here's a link to that. The speaker, who was I-sensei, she was doing a phrase where she was talking to somebody and addressing something that they had said. So she quoted them in her sentence. And after she said what they had said in that sentence, she paused for a second. That's very natural. If I say something to you and I quote you within a sentence, I'll pause for clarity. I think that probably most people will. Not everybody, maybe. But it just helps with clarity when you go from what somebody else said to what you're saying in the same sentence. One of the viewers thought that pause might be adopted by the students of Japanese people viewing Gengo no Tabi, and that they might think that it's inherent and necessary and that it could confuse them. So here is that video, and there's you can check out that phrase and be your own judge. I do think that it's very important to say right now, there's some people who learn very quickly out there maybe, but I don't learn that quickly. And before I incorporate anything in my speaking of Japanese, I've usually seen it a lot of times, and I've seen Sato and Yuko, a bunch of different people say it. I've seen it presented a bunch of different ways before I've adopted it. And it's mine at that point, and I've heard it said all different ways, and I've never really just kind of like mindlessly adopted anything I've heard. Especially because, like I said, every site has mistakes. I studied at a huge, popularly known, respected site for a long time, and it had a lot of mistakes. But those mistakes are like water off a duck's back. You keep seeing the material and you keep learning and relearning stuff, and the mistakes don't get repeated, and they're so insignificant. But as I said, if I ever have any mistakes get to the point where they get up, we definitely take them down. Don't misunderstand me there. Forums. I want to say this quickly because it doesn't apply to so many people. There are so many people who study Japanese who don't use YouTube. They don't have a membership, so they don't see when videos go up. So I go to the forums and I advertise when we post a video. And so what's very critical to this topic is we don't monetize Gengo no Tabi. Gengo no Tabi is a collective effort from a lot of people, and so there's no advertisements. We don't monetize. Nobody's making any money. This is just our time, our effort, and money I spend to produce the videos so that we can be a part of the community, part of the group that we are all in, you, me, studying Japanese and sharing. And so I think that collectively, with the knowledge of some of the people that helped me, we produce some pretty good videos, and I ask for your feedback to help. We can always get better. But so I think that it's awesome that we share them in a forum. What better thing can you do with a forum? But I have been attacked by some forums as a spammer. I feel like spamming is something that businesses do and not somebody who's part of your community sharing something that they did freely. But everybody's entitled to their opinion, and when a forum lets me know that, I'm out of there. I apologize, and I stop posting in their forum. However, I still get some people thumbing down the videos, and I recognize that as in general. It's people from forums who are unhappy. So if I'm posting in a forum and you're not happy with that, please tell me. I will apologize and stop posting unless you seem to just be one irate person. Because some of the forums and administrators do thank me, and they some of the founding members of a couple of the biggest Japanese language sites have complimented the videos recently. One of them, I just don't want to say any names because I don't have permission. I'm so honored that she comments on my videos because she is a founding member of a very respected site to me. Yeah, just saying. And obviously I can't take credit for all that because so many people go into making the videos. Oh, once again, Gengo no Tabi is all about everybody being involved and sharing in the adventure and sharing what we've learned, because if you study Japanese for a year or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, you've got wisdom. You've learned some things, not just about Japanese, but about how to learn it. Study techniques, methods, a lot. And some more people have got involved. Andreas helped us this year, and his insight was awesome, and he's a relatively new student, and I was amazed, and that goes to show what knowledge is out there with you folks. So thank you. Jem has really helped us out. She is a salty veteran of studying Japanese, and I think she's pretty brilliant. She's very good with grammar, but she would not approve of me saying this. She's very humble in the traditional Japanese sense of the word. So we have people helping, and man, that enriches Gengo no Tabi, because the more minds that come together to help, the better of an asset it is. This year we're excited about doing more intermediate lessons. We've been doing intermediate stuff in that, but a lot of phrase lessons. I want to do more complex grammatical constructs and introduce them in a fun and informative way, and I would like to do lessons that build upon each other. So you learn a concept, you learn a concept, you learn a concept in several videos, and then it all comes together in a very usable exchange. I think I've said everything. Thank you so much, everybody who views. Thank you for your commenting. We love comments, and like I said, it's so important to get constructive feedback, negative or positive. Thank you, everybody who shares. Gengo no Tabi is still a small channel. As I said before, I think that we do some alright things, so feel free to post it on your Facebook or your Twitter or whatever you're doing, and tell your friends, and maybe they will be contributing to Gengo no Tabi next. Thank you very much. Oh, I wanted to say one more thing. I am sometimes very particular about the production of videos for lessons, because I think that it's valuable to use the video medium in the best way to teach a lesson, because it's not a book. It's much more flexible than that. And it's not a classroom. It's much more flexible than that. It's video, and you can do almost anything with it. And so I'm going to give you this link. These folks, the Japan Society, do not need my recommendation. They're huge and they're popular, but I was so impressed with this video. That is the type of thing I aspire to. It's a great lesson. The production value is awesome, and I thank them for raising the bar. Thanks, everybody. Bye.